signal should be fine now. All right. I was making an example using a text company before I was rudely interrupted by the internet. So let's say, you're at a text company, for example. Your messaging should not be, we provide professional accounting and tax services, for example, or we do tax. Simple as that. No, people who would potentially need what you offer need to know who exactly you're helping and why they should care. Maybe you are specifically talking to small businesses or freelancers who are overwhelmed by doing their own, tax returns, for example, and they don't know what they're supposed to do and where to start. Like myself, for example, it was tax season. I think it still is tax season. Yeah, it was tax season, and it was quite a challenge having to get started with doing my tax returns. Obviously, I managed to do it, and I did it. However, in reference to this example, if you're doing taxes for people, you need to not only tell them you do taxes, but you need to know and tell people who you're doing it for and why those people should care. So you're solving them problems, you're making things easy and convenient for them, you're saving them time and money. And that's how people start wanting to get into purchasing or inquiring about what you offer, what you do, who you do it for, and why they should care. Now we're going to get into reason number 2 why your marketing probably is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is posting content but not making sure it's the right content. I kind of want to correct myself in that regard though. There is no right or wrong content. However, this kind of brings me to the second problem, because sometimes businesses are posting consistently. You're posting every day or every 2 days or 3 to 4 times a week, but if it doesn't have any context, if it doesn't let people know what you do, who you do it for, why you're doing it, and why they should care, then it's just posting content. So in that regard, it could kind of be wrong. Don't get me wrong, that is important, but for starters, people need to know what kind of problem you're going to solve for them, why they should give into we're back. Why they should give into what you're offering, why they should care. Come on. Okay, we're back. And so with that said, I want to kind of give 4 purposes I like to use, especially with previous and current clients. It's that your content should be educating, it should be building trust, it should be entertaining or creating a connection in a sense that show that you are human and it's not just robots who are running the account, or it could be selling. Now, not every single post is supposed to sell. Say, for example, you post 3 times a week. Those 3 posts are not all supposed to sell in that week. Otherwise, then you come across as too salesy and then people just move on. But if I look at 20 of your posts on your page and I can't really tell what you are trying to achieve with any one of those posts, then that becomes a problem. So there should be a kind of distinguished difference between posting content and posting the right content. And there's a big difference in that sense. With that said, we are going to get into reason number 3, which is you talk about yourself too much as a business. And trust me, I think we've all been there. I myself will admit that I've been there quite a couple times. I think I sometimes still do that. And it's a big one because businesses do love talking about themselves. If you are sitting behind a computer and posting as a business, all you want to do is, we offer this, our company provides that, we are proud to announce this, our amazing team does X, Y, and Z. And yes, people need to know those things because, again, going back to a previous point I made, is that you need to come across as human and not a robot that's running the account. But you also need to think about where your customer fits in all of this. So instead of always asking, what do I want to tell? What do I want to tell people about my business? Or about what I do or what I offer? You need to start thinking about, what could my potential customer or client be struggling with? What could they be Googling at 3 a.m. on their phone that I could potentially solve by just making a post about this, or making a video about it, or creating a reel and posting that reel on TikTok and everywhere else? What are they potentially complaining about? What are they scared of getting wrong, or what are they scared of losing? What's costing them money, and how could I potentially save them time and that money that they could be running out of? So, example, if I run a bookkeeping company and I need to start thinking about how I'm going to let people know what I do and how I solve their problems, I don't have to spend every single week telling people that I'm a bookkeeping company, because sure, they do need to know that, but I can also talk about things like bookkeeping mistakes that small businesses make that costs you hundreds of thousands, for example. So the minute I see that as a potential client, I'm thinking, heck, I don't want to lose hundreds of thousands. Let me go into this post, let me go into this company. In future, when I need bookkeeping services, I'm not going to go start on Google and start searching bookkeeping companies close to me or near me. I'm going to go straight back to that company that told me that they could save me hundreds of thousands by doing X, Y, and Z. Simple as that. So that's the whole purpose of it. And then I want to get into the very final reason why marketing may not be doing what it necessarily should be doing. And it's that we expect marketing to work way too quickly. And again, a lot of us have been guilty of this. I myself have been guilty of it. And it's another one I think we need to talk about a lot, is that we give up too quickly, and then right when, for example, it could have worked, you could have gotten a customer, the client, whatever the case may be, that inquiry even, you stop posting. So you now think that, no, marketing is actually not working for my business, I need to try something else, for example, which is not the case. For some companies, it could take 3 months. As others, it could take 3 years. It all depends on your niche, the need for what you offer at the time, the market, etc. There's a whole lot of factors outside of the fact that marketing doesn't work for my company. Because honestly, let's think about it. How many times have you seen a business before you eventually trusted them enough to start buying from them? It has to be more than one time. Because I might see you today and again next week and then next month, but not actually need what you're offering until I do. But until that point that I do need what you're offering, I need to continuously keep seeing you on my feed so we can build that trust and that connection, and then eventually you get that sale. So like I said, for some businesses it takes 3 months, for others it could take 3 years. Consistency is the key to solving this, and that's literally that's just it. I'm struggling with Wi-Fi this side. Oh my gosh. Yo. Okay. I think we should be fine. So that was the last of it all. So now I want us to get into, I don't want to say fixing this, but for lack of a better word, fixing this. Now bring everything and we're back. Okay. If you're sitting there thinking, okay, marketing isn't working, where do I start? You don't go and create 50 posts tonight and think, I'm going to post these every day for 50 days straight and think it's going to start working. Or you don't start spending thousands of rands on boosting your posts or, running ads, for example, and think that maybe if I start spending money, I'm going to get it back immediately. Or you don't suddenly start a TikTok account and start posting every single day thinking that that's where the money is. I think we start with the basics. Firstly being that, can people understand what you do? Just from looking at one post or visiting your page or your website for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is even a lot. But can people understand what you do? Second being, do you know exactly who you are talking to? Because talking to the masses is probably not going to work. I made an example in the first episode, I think, and said something like, if I stand at Times Square with a megaphone and I'm screaming at everybody who passes, go back. For example, if I'm standing at Times Square with a megaphone and I'm screaming at everybody telling them I do digital marketing, nobody's gonna care. But if I start targeting small to medium businesses who struggle with everyday marketing problems and I tell them I could save you 2,000 Rand a month from boosting posts every single time, and I could save you. The third one being, are you talking about their problems or are you just talking about yourself and your products? The fourth one being, is your offer clear? So like I said, I made an example. If I talk to small to medium businesses and I tell them I could save you 2,000 Rand every month and about 3 hours in a single day by doing your marketing for you, and that's my offer. Is it clear enough, or are you just telling them I do digital marketing? There's a big difference. The fifth one being, does your profile give people enough reason to trust you, or are you just talking about yourself and what you offer? And the final one is that, are you giving your marketing enough time to work? So going back to the previous reason that we spoke about, that people give up too easily. It could take someone 3 months and another 3 years. Doesn't mean that you're doing something well, unless you are. So to close this off, I just want to tell you that because this is marketing after hours, we need a tiny little butter tip. Here's one before we close off. Before creating content or more content, before boosting, before running ads, try to look at the message, and if there's something you feel is wrong with it, looking at everything that was discussed tonight, try to fix that. Because more content is not going to fix something that people don't understand. If your visuals look beautiful and your message is clever and it's entertaining and it's smart, but people don't understand what you're doing or what you're trying to say, then more content is not going to fix it. Boosting it is not going to fix it. So fix that first, and then everything else will come after. So that's it. I am closing this off. That's it for Marketing Hours episode 3. I will see you guys again in 2 weeks time from now. And remember, get yourself a copy of Brand Butter. So maybe in the next episode we can discuss that. That's it from me. Good night and stay warm. Cheers.